My biggest issue is not having nothing to talk about. It is having 1,000 things to talk about and figuring out the order in which I can give them to you. Prioritization. And this speaks to what I'm about to talk about now, which is the argument of quality versus quantity. Which is more important? Obviously, you want quality. But how do you arrive at quality? Only through quantity. You have to do things like 1,000 times to get good at doing them. If you're a carpenter, you're gonna have to build 1,000 tables before you build your first good table. If you are a bricklayer, you have to lay 1,000 bricks before you know how to lay them straight. If you are a mathematician, you're gonna have to do equations 1,000 times before you master them, right? This is how you arrive at quality. It can only be done by repetition and figuring out the correct method of doing things. You have to put in the quantity in order to get the quality. And this is where a lot of content creators, musicians, artists, this is where there's a little bit of a problem, because people are going to see you in your quantity phase. So it's gonna take 1,000 videos before you're great at making videos for YouTube. I'm halfway there, 500 and something right now. And if you're a musician, you're gonna have to write 100 songs before you write a good one. And the thing is, with the social media age, you're getting people tuned into your process while you're in the midst of the process. So you have to kind of grow up in front of your audience. And I know a lot of people are afraid of that. They're afraid of being judged on their work as they are working. I hope that kind of makes sense to you guys. Like, I was speaking to someone, another artist, and he was telling me he admires the way that I'm able to put content out almost on a regular basis. I'm trying to become even more regular. And he said that he wants to do the same thing. He wants to become comfortable on camera. By the way, I'm not that comfortable on camera yet. I'm not as comfortable as I would like to be, but I am damn sure a lot more comfortable than I was when I first started doing this. And he was talking about he wants to become more comfortable on camera, and he wants to get a better camera so he can put out better content. And he wants to start once he has the better camera. And I was like, nah bro, what you're talking about is I want to have abs before I start going to the gym. Doesn't quite work like that. You have to go to the gym to get the abs. You know what I mean? Yeah man, I'll go to China when I get there. What? No, that's not how it works. You have to go there to get there. You have to go through the steps to get to the destination. And that's what I was trying to tell him. Like, yes, it's going to be scary putting work out that you are aware is not as good as it can be, but you have to make it as good as it can be at your present skill level and at the level of your equipment, the things that are at your disposal, the tools that are in your toolkit. You have to make do with. As they say, a bad carpenter blames his tools, right? But the only way to become a good carpenter is through using those tools. And as you level up, as you get more contracts, you get more people ordering your stuff, you level up your tools. So in terms of a content creator or a musician, this is not an ideal mic. It's like a 70-pound mic, I think. It was a Behringer B1. It's like a 70-80-pound mic. Decent, but it's not a 1,000 or 5,000-pound mic that the likes of Taylor Swift or Drake use, right? But it's what I have. And until I level up, this is what I have to use. And the only way to level up is by creating more and more and more content that is consumed and people start paying for it. And then from there, you get the income that you can use to level up. And while you're doing this, your skill level is also increasing because you're learning how to use limited resources, limited tools. And having a limited toolkit forces you to be more creative. And being more creative, you put more into the process. You do 100 takes. And as you do 100 takes to get one song, you start mastering the song making process. I hope that makes sense. This video is not only relevant for artists and content creators, it's for anyone who is trying to get better at anything. Whether you're trying to, go to the gym, get buff, if you're trying to, jog, or if you're trying to get better at, mathematics, it's the same process. You need to put in the steps. You need to put in the reps to get bigger. Like if you're a bodybuilder, you're going to have to do 100 bicep curls, first of all, to get stronger and to get that hypertrophy, and then also to improve your form. It's only going to improve by doing the thing. If you're starting out with jogging, you're not about to break the marathon record the first time you go out jogging. It's gonna be difficult, but you only get better by continuing to go through the process. Again, with the maths equations, you're not gonna start out as Einstein. You're not gonna be Stephen Hawking. Maybe Stephen Hawking isn't the right example given the social climate, but you're not gonna be a mathematician, a physicist your first time writing out an equation. You're gonna have to go through the process of learning the maths, learning the formula, and repeating it so that it gets ingrained in your mind. That is the only way to get better. It is quality over quantity, but you only get quality through quantity. You're gonna have to put the work in to get better. Even when you take on a new job, they do job training because they understand that you have not put in the hours at this particular role. So you're gonna need training, and you're not shy about having to do that training. So why should you be shy about not being perfect when you're creating your content? It's all part of the process, man. You just need to believe in yourself, get a little bit more comfortable, don't be so shy, and just get out there and do what you have to do.
What can you trust but the process? Be patient if you haven't taken off yet. There's work to do, so we rise with the sun. The perfect time never comes, so just grind, get it done. What can you trust but the process? Be patient if you haven't taken off yet. There's work to do, so we rise with the sun. The perfect time never comes, so just grind, get it done. One, understand that life could get as hard as these bars. Hijackers robbed my mother and tossed her out of her car.